Okay guys, welcome back. We got another breakdown today. This match we're going to be looking at Milo Ketterhagen. He's my student, purple belt, fights at middleweight and has been competing since he's been training with me, which is a few years. He started with me as a kid, young teenager, and he turned 18 about 6 months ago. Got his purple belt about 6 months ago and has done a few competitions in the local circuit and also in the Charleston Open, where he placed uh, two times actually. So I'm excited to talk about his match. Here he's fighting a very tough opponent. His opponent is a purple belt, also middleweight, and also a judo black belt, from what I believe. So going into this match, we knew that he actually took this match with a 2 days notice. Um, One of my other students was supposed to fight, and he had a shoulder injury, so I immediately thought of Milo. Milo did not prepare for this match. He has just been training leisurely, the way he usually does, a few times a week. Milo does not lift, does not do anything but jiu-jitsu, school, and family. So he's a simple kid, gets things done. So here we go, start of the match. Milo didn't really have a game plan. He wanted to fill him out. He knew judo, and Milo still wanted to challenge himself and see if he can maybe take his opponent down, maybe do some wrestling, maybe do some takedowns. We do incorporate judo and wrestling at our school, so that's where Milo's knowledge comes from. So you see his opponent getting a sumigaeshi grip. He's reaching across the sleeve, reaching through the back, and he's lunging forward to set up Milo to do a sumigaeshi, which is a beautiful throw. We drill this at the school, so Milo can kind of fill this out. We have really tough caliber of judo competitors and wrestlers. We have some former D1 wrestlers, former high school wrestlers at the school. So they really help Milo get ready for this type of training. So Milo immediately recognizes this. He squares up, and once he sees he can't really take him down, he's defending well. As you saw, he stuffed a double leg earlier. He starts to get his grips, um, and he pulls guard right into one leg X. So he's got one leg X using the middle hook, and then he brings his foot around, feeds it to his shoulder all the way to X guard. He off balances his opponents, has sleeve control, well, actually lapel control. And notice how Milo goes back and forth. This is something we really focus on at the school. Uh, in judo, it's called kazushi, being able to off balance your opponent. And he's able to really get underneath his hips, rock him back and forth. He never lets him settle. Now he switches to a sleeve grip. So now, as he sweeps, he goes over his shoulder and spins over his right shoulder. Sorry, over his left shoulder to complete the sweep. Now here there's no points. No points are counted. It's submission only for the first few minutes. So again, Milo goes for a very strong knee cut, stuffs the knee, and starts working his right elbow. If you look at it, is working as an underhook. His opponent is very good at recovering the guard, goes to knee shield, and is also trying to sweep here. It's a very, very fun match, and very, very good competitor um, that Milo had. And as I said, Milo had no real preparation or game plan. When I found out 2 days he wanted to take the fight, I asked him. He immediately said yes, and I talked to him briefly about a game plan, and he basically said he just wanted to go in there, try to do a takedown, pull guard if he can't get a takedown, work his passing if he can't get the submission. So work his sweep if he can't get the submission, work his passing, and then try to finish the match. So he's got a good underhook with his right hand, very good balance awareness. His opponent tries to off balance him, and um, he continues to put pressure, and his opponent actually gets a sumigaeshi sweep from bottom. So that was really nice to see that position. Go back real quick to see how he was able to land that very, very quickly. And as I rewind, let me just say a few other things. Is because he didn't have a game plan, we had to really focus on some of Milo's strengths. So some of them are sit-up guard, um, his passing, knee cut passing, and also his De La Hiva, which he didn't do a whole lot in this match, but he did do some of the other things I talked about. Now, Milo is swept here, well, one, because of the great judo of his opponent, and two, because as he's passing, he does rest on his knees a few times. What Milo should have done better is stay off his knees, stay on his feet, really elevate his hips, and pressure down. Do you see how Milo's on his knees there? So this is a perfect sumigaeshi in judo, and in jiu-jitsu is like a butterfly sweep. But instead of using the far side leg, he's using the near side leg. So right here, Milo needs to get off his knees, and he needs to pressure pass forward. Because he stays, he's able to get off balanced by his opponent. So that's the sweep. Really good guard recovery here. Milo was working a sit-up guard. His opponent tries to knee cut. Not giving a lot of space, which is good. This was a very exciting match. It was the first match of the entire event, and it opened up the event. It was really good to have them start with these guys. They put on a good match. They're going back and forth. So again, look at Milo's left leg. It's extended. Very hard to pass the guard when the De La Riva leg like that is extended. He also has control of the lapel inside sit up. So this is a very difficult position to pass. What his opponent is doing is trying to like backstep and clear the foot. However, it's very tough to pass the guard. It can prevent some sweeps, and maybe he's hoping that if he gets swept, he can sweep back, which is what you kind of see in the next few seconds. Milo comes up to a sit-up guard, but his opponent has good wrestling, so you can see that nice whizzer. And then again, he starts working that sumigaeshi, which puts Milo back on his back. Has a nice underhook, but he's still in Milo's half guard. Then he comes back to knee cut, and Milo stays composed, recomposes the guard, and now he's in sit up. And if you look at the grips, Milo has sleeve control, lapel control. This is what really works on opponents, especially when they have really good balance like this opponent of his. It's very hard to pass the guard. Basically, he needs to free the sleeve grip. So he does, and he immediately starts attacking Milo. And he starts grabbing the arm, pulling it up to knee cut. And also his opponent has a really good wide base. Look at the left leg. That's a really good job by his opponent. So at this point, what Milo needs to do is reconnect and grab that sleeve. He's letting it kind of stay around too much, hang out too much. So he's still grabbing on to the sit-up. Very hard to pass. And now, instead of grabbing the sleeve, he grabs the lapel with both arms, which is really good. He comes up, and again, see the mistake. Milo is on his knees right there. Because he's on his knees, this is what allows him to get swept once again by the sumigaeshi. Now, there's no points counted. If there were points, Milo would have to hold this position for at least 3 seconds for it to count as a sweep, and then his opponent would then be able to sweep him back for 3 seconds. Because he doesn't hold him for 3 seconds, in normal rules like IBJJF, this wouldn't be a sweep. It would probably just be an advantage at the most. So he gets swept again, but Milo has those grips. His opponent goes back. Milo is doing a good job with the double lapel grip. They reset them. One thing Milo's really good at too, some good things we could talk about that he does. He's very good at pacing. So he has got a consistent pace. We do 6, 8, 10, 12-minute rounds normally at the school. And like I said, he didn't do any competition training really for this. He just trained normally like he usually does. So he's able to pace really well. I've been trying to get him to go to the weight room, but hopefully I think that'll help him a little bit. So he starts to off-balance and he's working his sit-up. His knees are very tight, and he still has that double grip on the lapel. If you look at his right hand, it's gripping the lapel. His left hand is gripping the lapel. His opponent tries to backstep, but it's going to be very hard to pass a sit-up guard by backstepping. Very hard. I mean, he could go possibly for an ankle lock, but it's very tough, especially with someone like Milo who's really good at sit-up. With sit-up guard, you kind of want to break grips um, and really disconnect positions to pass. It's very hard to pass a sit-up guard if you keep going into your opponent, because then they're just going to rock back and forth and off-balance you, which is what happens here. See how Milo's very tight? He connects his feet behind the hamstring, and he starts hooking his left leg under the shin. And so his opponent gets close to passing. He keeps, if you look at that, he keeps his opponent's far side sleeve away to buy him time to frame with his left leg. So even though he didn't have the sit-up position for just a brief second, he's able to recompose his guard because he's controlling his opponent's frame with the sleeves with his frames. Recomposes, goes back to De La Hiva, comes back to sit-up, reconnects positions, and sweeps, gets Sumigaeshi'd, and then finally scrambles on top. That was a good exchange. I think we should see that one more time. Again, hats off to his opponent. Very good base, very good balance, very good judo. And Milo was able to complete the sweep because of those grips from the sit-up position. And notice here, Milo is still leaving his knees on the floor, which doesn't help him, but I think him kind of pacing throughout the match kind of helped him maintain a consistent flow of energy where he was able to like stay consistent and continue to pressure. So here it is. Sweeps him, goes back, stays on top, and his opponent kind of lost the Sumigaeshi again because his leg was out of reach. So now they're in a semi-closed guard, semi-open guard, right? Milo is trapping his opponent's shin with his hips. His opponent tries playing with a baseball bat choke. Milo's familiar with these, sees it, immediately deals with that issue. Okay, he's pacing and he's taking it slow, stuffs the knee and starts trying to pass. I roll with Milo a lot at the school, and he's very tough. He's got this pressure, this relentless pressure where he keeps going. So he's very good at pacing. He knows how to like pick it up and slow it down. So this is a good example of that. He's kind of hanging out here to trap the hips. He starts walking, his hips slowly start elevating, and his head is working as an underhook. If you could see it, he's trapping the far side arm with his head, and he starts turning his hips so he can free the leg. Now remember, points don't matter yet. This is still submission only. Around this time they start counting, but not yet. Controls the top knee with his grip, starts cutting the knee across, continues to use his head as an underhook, and look at his deep crossface with the left hand. So this is textbook. This is what we drill a lot and train. Lucas has really instilled this type of style at our school. Passes the guard, traps the hips, is posting, and his opponent does a good job of recomposing the guard, and Milo keeps circling to attempt to pass again. Stuffs the knee. So he's trapping the knee with his hip. His opponent plays with the baseball bat choke again. And I believe around this point, a few seconds left for points. I'm sorry, yes, for points to count. Like I said, this was the first match of the Toro Cup event. This was great. Milo stuffs the knee, passes over, hugs tight at the hips. His opponent lets go of that baseball bat choke, cross faces. Look at how he uses his head as an underhook, so it's very hard to recover from here. His opponent tries to rock him back and forth. Milo has a very good base. Uses his high hips, low upper body pressure. Uses shoulder pressure. And now he starts to trap the arm and isolate the arm as he starts working for a submission here. So he starts working basic bread cutter choke. He traps the arm, goes to north-south, gets the lapel grip. This is all textbook fundamentals. And he drops his elbow and walks back for the bread cutter choke. And so, great submission. Milo has been training with me for a few years. He did my fundamentals program. He helps me teach the kids, which is primarily fundamentals, and he helps me teach the adults fundamentals. So his fundamentals are solid. His close guard is great. His passing is pretty amazing for this. I call him young kid. He just turned 18 a few months ago, but it was textbook. Sit-up guard to sweep, knee cut pressure passing. Some things he could work on: staying off his knees when he's passing, staying more on his toes, staying active toes, pressure forward, and he could have passed earlier. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. Great job to the guys at Toro for throwing a great event. Great job to Milo's opponent for putting on a great match. And good job to Milo for coming in there. And some of the things he learned is stay off his knees as he pressure passes. And he might be able to do a lot better. So hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, shoot them in the comment box. And if there's other positions you'd like to see, also let us know. And if you have any questions about these techniques, also let us know. So it was great calling this match and coaching. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of Milo's competition. And hopefully we'll have it on the channel as well. Hope you guys enjoyed.